To win the match? 100, between 100 and 120? I think so. I think so, mate. Good luck, John. What about that? No swearing. Ah? Right, we are going to put some bait in. 14.5 metres, just kick it off. I'm going to go straight on the method. Try and pick a few up on that if we can. I'm going to feed all my lines first. Got a few to put down the edge here. Probably wafted in my mouth, I'll take that out. A few micros down the edge. Keep topping my lines up at top 2 and 2. Caught a few there, they were down corn. It's going to be a tricky day today, I think. You know, we've got horrible cold wind coming in, and I think it's going to be tough. Obviously, first fish of Mania. It's going to be tough. We've got 40 anglers on here. You know, normally you only see sort of 25 anglers max on this lake, so we shall see. If it's a tough day, we've got a chance. Some good anglers in my section, Jamie opposite. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, could probably have a day on silvers and catch 40 pound of them. But I don't think it's going to do any good, so we'll just keep it nice and simple. See what we can get. I'm also going to fish a waggler over my method line. See if we can catch a few on that and all. Used to be really good waggler pegs, these, when the aerator was out there. And hopefully in the next few weeks we're going to put them back anyway. I think they're better off in the middle of the lake. And they hold fish out in the middle of the lake as well, and so that's what we're going to do. Tell you what, get some liners. If it stays like that, we might be able to catch a few shallow. I don't mind catching 1 or 2 shallow. Getting caught a few liners out there. I might try a waggler for a minute. Put one of my Robin Reds on. Can't beat a bit of Robin Red. Watch movement on the old wag. Let's try that long pole. Probably bait it now. And a few lads catching on the old sweet corn down here last couple of weeks. Personally, I think it's because it's so bright. I can see it. And it's a good old faithful sweet corn. Just might be a bit difficult with that wind. Straight away the wind. Oh, good sign. Barely settled. Ooh. Bit rusty with the old net there, don't fish for a while. Almost plump F1. Nice start there. I think I'll try that again. I'm getting a bit excited if this goes under again. Come on the yellow peril. The old faithful. The nice thing about the F1s in here now, they're all nice size, they're all sort of, there ain't many twos, they're all sort of threes, fours and fives now, which is great. I'm not a fan of F1s, I'll be honest, but when they're that big I don't mind them. It's when you've got to fish against sort of Loxley, Jamie and that. That's what they do a lot of. They do my brains in. I'll be honest with you, a bit old school really, I love carp. But say, when they get that big you don't mind so much. Well, I was hoping after that first strike where it went under, I thought, ooh, let's have a few now. I've got a skimmer. And no more bites. Still early yet. The F1s on here tend to turn up a bit late, so you need to catch as much as you can before then. Try and put a weight together. As I said earlier, I don't think you'll know where the wind is going to come from. If fish is rock hard, I think a lot of people have got a chance. It could come from anywhere. If it's like a relatively low weight, I think you'll need 100, 120 pound, but if it's a, you know, sort of 80 pound, I think it's a lot. 40% of the field could win it. Definitely. Whee, fine skimmer. Our skimmers have got wings. We feed ours on Red Bull. There's one thing for sure, having this many anglers on the lake definitely makes a difference. It doesn't see we only put, as I said earlier, you know, maximum 30 on it, and it sure enough makes a difference, 100%. I'll tell you what's quite strange is that I've just been putting loose corn in, and I think I never had a bite for a bit, so just put a toss pot full of micros in, and I've had a bite straight away. So maybe the micros are what they want. Let's hope so. It's a big fish, this is. It's not quite woke up yet. Spoke too soon. Be careful, I'm only fishing sort of 0.15 as well diameter. I don't fish too light because there's some big carp in here, 20 pounders like, so be careful, you don't want to fish too light. You end up breaking and then it cost you winning the match like. That's a big old lump, that is. I didn't get him in the net. We should put this one in a lake called Uglies because he's not very pretty. Take him to the glebe. It's a good £9 though. We'll try that again. Catching a £9 chuck. Very nice. Imagine me in the final. Oh my god. When you had 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Can't bite, can you? I'm the unluckiest man on the planet. The only other man who's more unlucky than me is Nathan Watson, and that's because he's probably the ugliest man on the planet. Sorry Nathan, I really love you really, mate. Come on, let's have it. I reckon that was one of the old original carp that first put in there. There's loads of them still in here. Big old warriors. Feed when they want to feed. Ooh. Check that. There's a little, I'll do a little tip while I'm here. If you do strike and you've got a piece of corn on, always bring it in and make sure you're not, it's not just hanging off the end. You're not presenting your corn right so you can't see your hook. Otherwise you could sit there for ages and you won't get a bite. So always bring it back and just check it. Better to be safe than sorry. Oh, yes. Got a bit of a running commentary when I hook one then. Got the old mate over there. Oosh. Andy May. Oosh. Go on, Andy. I think the micros are doing the trick. Soaked them in that F1, the old Dynamite F1 sweet. I love that, I could drink it. Beautiful. Got it. Keep feeding that short line for later on. Hopefully then come short on the corn. So I've got an empty peg to my right as well, so I'm fishing to my right slightly, just to give myself a little bit more room really. As you know, it's quite tight pegged on here today, so it's always best to try and fish away from the angaroos on your left or your right, so you get a bit more water to yourself, and that way if you do start catching, he can't come towards you without politely telling him to do one. Getting a bit of indications as well, so I think there's a few fish there. Just getting to get a bit more confident in taking a bait, but considering the weather on Tuesday and Wednesday, it must have dropped 15 degrees since then. Must knock the fish about quite a bit. I don't know what's going on, like. They don't know whether to be up or down. You what? You won't have my meat, I ain't got none on my tray. I know. Yeah. You have it on meat, John? You have it on meat? Did you get it in? Oh, you still got it on? Is that another foul looker by any chance? Some big fish in here. Yeah. There's a 20 pounder lives in this area. I've weighed a 20 pounder in off these pegs 2 or 3 times. Told you I left it there on purpose. Jamie had been on it, I'd have cut it down for him. Ooh. Noticed some fish out there. There's some fish in like, long pole. Can see a few carp out there on the top. Well, not on the top, just porpoising. So it might be further out on the Waggler shallow. I'll have a little look. Just give this a little bit longer and then I'll start pinging a few pellets out there. I've been on this peg before and caught a few shallow on the Waggler, but the wind wasn't as strong as this. So we'll see.
So just behind where Grant is, you've got a different pool called the Island Pool, and the word is on the bank is that Neil McKinnon has got 4 big carp and he's winning the match at the moment with around £40. It's only a little pool and you're probably wondering why he's fishing the method. The bottom on this pool is really up and down, and I suppose that's the best way to present his bait. But next to Neil, you've got Danny Ludgate, who looks to be fishing a Waggler. Yeah, fishing a Waggler. Neil's just catapulting bait over where he's chucking that method. But back on the meadow, it looks like Grant's got another fish on.
Who's got that? Where is it? Big ones in. Probably got half that. I've got 20. I know. Foul looking and everything. You ain't not one in the mouth yet.
He'll be back running again this year then for McKinnon.
You haven't been demoted, have you, John? Demoted? That's terrible. Would you? Don't know. How many you had, Dan? How many you had? Two. You know what? I'm feeling a bit. I feel like I need to go shallow. I don't know why, I just feel like I need to go shallow. I know, yeah, loads of fish.
Over on bank pool, the pegging's quite tight. The reason for this is the last few matches that's been on Moorlands, bank pool has actually won it. So to try and make it a bit fairer, the pegging's been done so it's a bit tighter on this lake. As you can see, it doesn't look like there's much room in between them. The camera angle doesn't help looking down the bank, but it is quite tight. A lot of them look to be fishing the long pole, fishing shallow, but all on his own. Down right at the bottom is Daniel Squire. Plenty of room down there, but I don't think that's the best area on the lake, to be honest, and that's probably why he's got a bit of room. Just stay with him a minute, see what he's doing. It looks like he's fishing short. Behind that pool, you've got Moors, and on peg 21, you've got Aidan Mansfield. On the end peg, he's just fishing up along the reeds. I've had no news on Aidan catching anything at the moment, but the wind's blowing down that way. And to be honest, I wouldn't fancy that draw. And down the other end, on the same lake as Aidan, on the other end peg, on peg 12, which is a really good peg. The guy looks to be catching a few fish. There's a lot of F1s on this peg. The bank's really undercut and the fish do live on this peg. Tend to catch them up against the bank from the start, really. Can be really snaggy though, but it's still a good peg. This actually might be a carp what he's got on here. is it? Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a carp. Doesn't look like a big fish, probably 4 or 5 pound. But back on meadow, beyond Andy May. Andy's drew down the bottom end of the lake. It's not very good down here. And he looks to be fishing for silvers, just to probably pass the time, to be honest. Yeah. Just fishing shallow with maggots out his hand. Just shipping out, flicking the rig over, loose feeding a few maggots over the top. There you go, he's got a little fish on. And although they are little fish, you can still do probably 30 pound of them. But I don't think that's going to be any good today, because you have got some good pegs on this venue, and I think you're going to need around probably 80 to 100 pound. But he's getting some bites, so at least he's going to have a day's fishing. Just look like small roach. At 2 ounce probably, 3 ounce. Further up the bank, about 10 pegs to Andy's right, you got Jamie Hughes. I think Jamie's just shallow fishing now, to be honest. Yeah, just fishing long at 14.5 metres. He's using quite a long rig. Just slapping it over. I imagine long rigs just to keep the pole away from where the float actually is. Not been loads of fish caught shallow, but there's been the odd ones coming out, and they seem to be quite big fish, to be honest. But opposite Jamie, got John Arthur. He's just hooked into another fish. Grant's also got one on. Grant's looks foul up there, going towards John. That's going to come off. Oh, yeah, it's done. But back with John, he seems to be under control. John's not actually had that many fish, but they've been big fish, to be honest. Looks like another big fish for John. Just taking his time with it. James just took one shallow now. Don't think it's as big as John's. It's coming a lot easier. And he's just netted it. Carp of around 4 or 5 pound. Shallow seems like it's the method today. Back with John. Yeah, big fish. Probably 11 pound. Proper carp, that one. Lovely fish. Tell you what, John might actually be up there. Next to John now, you got Grant, who's just stuck to another one. I think he's just dropped back on the bottom, to be fair, on the long pole. Grant's just a little bit too far down, just out of the bowl. Yeah, he's hooked it on the bottom. And the fish seem to be 2 Grants left. And when they're swimming down out of the bowl, it's like John's intercepting them. So John and Jamie are like bang on opposite each other. And Grant just seems to be off the end of them. Seems like a decent fish though. The news coming down the bank is that Ben Lockwood over on Bank Pool is winning the match now with about 70 to 80 pound. We'll just watch Grant land this and then we'll head over to the bank and try and get eyes on Ben Lockwood. Seems like a decent fish, putting up a bit of a fight. Yeah, it's a nice fish. He's trying to get under his platform now. Well done, Grant. Fish about 7 pound. Right then, we'll head over to Bank Pool now, where Ben Lockwood is. There he is. Ben's just fishing shallow with... He's got an 8mm pellet on the hook. But it looks like he's feeding smaller pellets, maybe 6mm. He's fishing a long pole at 16 metres. Just slapping the rig over. As you can see, they're quite small pellets. They've got to be 6mm pellets then. Oh, that was nice. Little dib on the float. Struck and a great big towel come out of the water as he hooked the fish. I don't think anyone else on that lake is doing any good there by the sounds of it. I think Ben's just had a few fish, but they've been big ones. I think someone said he's had nine carp. This will probably be his 10th. For around £80. They're decent fish. Yeah, that one's probably about £7 or £8. The next peg to Ben, we've got Rich Chapman who's just hooked into a fish on the bomb. Coming in quite quick, it might be an F1 this one. Yeah, big F1. Although, on that lake, I think you need to be catching carp really to be competing. The word on the bank is Danny Ludgate's now had a couple on Island Pool next to Neil McKinnon. Danny swapped to a pole now. I think she's fishing short. I think someone said he's had 5 or 6 big carp. So if they could keep coming, Danny could be a contender as well. Back over on Meadow, John Arthur's into another fish. Looks to be another big carp, to be honest. So John's definitely in the running now. I'd say he's probably got 60 to 70 pound. So we'll keep our eye on John.
Well, what we got left, 45 minutes. Just had one shallow. I mean, should be a perfect time of day now for them to come in shallow. That's what we've got to hope. I mean, from what I've heard, £60 winning the match. It don't take long to catch £60 shallow if I can keep them coming. So I'm going to persevere with this shallow till the end, I think. And then see what happens. That's £6, so you never know. Can't half catch a white quickly when you're fishing shallow, if they're in your bag. You don't need loads of fish there, you just need them to be nice sized fish. So we'll see what happens. Probably got, I don't know, 30 odd pound. So the good thing about this method is if they do come in your peg, you can catch them quickly. With 45 minutes to go, you only need one every 10 minutes to hopefully pull it back. If they're in your peg, it's all about perseverance, I think. You get a lot of anglers obviously give up and think they can't win it, but you just never know with fishing. You could catch a big white at last hour if they rock up in your peg. So just keep going till the end. That's all you can do. Just not feeding. I mean, John next to me's had a few shallow, but it's just odd fish. It's not, you know, there's no feeding them into your peg and doing it properly, and it's just an odd fish. I suppose you've got to be a bit lucky if they open a gob, but unfortunately for me it's just not happened. As I said earlier, it needs a few more weeks to warm up for this kind of game. Interesting. Can't get a bite short either. quite funny really, because when you analyse your match after your 5 hours, you think, what I should have done was just stay on the bottom long, because that's the place I've really caught. But in hindsight, when you see other people catching shalley, see a few fish swirling, you think, I've got a shallow now. Or you're getting a few bites and you're missing, you think the fish are shallow and they're liners. So obviously I've come short thinking I was going to catch. I haven't caught nothing. So you think, no. But that's fishing, I suppose. You live and learn and you make your decisions and you have to stand by them. So on to the next one. I think it's June the 2nd. Hope for a better draw myself. And hopefully it'll be a bit warmer then anyway. There'll be a few more fish to catch. That was tough, wasn't it? It was always going to be hard, mate. Aye? Yeah. It's fishing, isn't it?
What weight?
43.13.
Grant Albutt 43.14.
Must try harder. Yeah, but there's loads of things. The photo with these ones, Ben. £90, 104, 105 penton. Ben Lockwood, £109, 7 ounces. Yeah, plenty. But honestly, plenty. Well done, kid.
Hi, I'm Ben Lockwood. I've drew bank 5 today. I've had £109, mainly just slapping an 8mm. I can't believe I've won really. It's been an unbelievable day, unbelievable. So I'll see you all in the final.